because you can start seeing, patterns and why it's making a mistake. And then you add instructions against that pattern. And then sometimes it still doesn't, do the right thing. And then you kind of really ask yourself, okay, well, was I being super clear in my instructions? Am I including information doesn't, it shouldn't see, or too much, or too little information for it to really get the full context. And usually like these things are pretty intelligent. And so usually you can kind of root cause why you're failing certain tests, and then build to a place where you're actually passing those tests and just getting it right. And one of the things we learned is if it after passes, frankly, even like 100 tests, the odd that it will do on any random distribution of like user inputs the next 100,000 100% accurately is like very high.
One of the things that strikes me that is tricky, like many founders we work with are very tempted to just raw dog it.
Yeah.
Just like no evals, no test driven. We're just like vibes only prompt engineering. And
Yeah.
maybe, I mean, you switched over to this very quickly then. Like, was it just obvious from the beginning? You're like, we just can't do it that other way. We should not raw dog any of these prompts.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, first of all, depends on the use case. For a lot of things that we were working on, for better or for worse, there was a right answer. And if you get the wrong answer, lawyers are not going to be happy about it. I had been a lawyer myself, but also been selling to lawyers for a decade. And every time we made the smallest mistake in anything that we did, we heard about it immediately, right? And so I had that voice in my head maybe as I was going through this process. And that
How was the learning from the 10 years of slogging through
yeah.
pre-LMs? You're like, no, it has to be 100%.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's probably true of way more domains than we realize,
It
actually.
could be because and the other thing that we're thinking about a lot is you can lose faith in these things really quickly,
Hmm.
right? You have one bad experience, especially if it's your first experience is bad, and you're like, maybe I'll check on this AI stuff a year from now, especially if you're like a busy lawyer, not a technologist. So we knew we had to make that first encounter, the first week, really, really work for the lawyer, or else they're not going to invest in it deeply.